we've said a number of times, essentially, b'chol derachecha do'eyu. A person is supposed to search in all ways to find, to identify a Kadosh Baruch Hu. We've spoken about, the fact that I count steps. I learned that from the instructor of a Rebbe, 26 steps. Another, in his home, to be aware of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. The trees outside, just looking at trees remind us of the fact that a Kadosh Baruch Hu takes care of a tree that can't move. But the sun, the rain, the wind keeps it alive, so too does he take care of us. We're all in the hands of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Now, the fact is that what I'm going to mention now really is an introduction to the point that I want to make after this. But I don't know how many of us drink coffee, but especially early in the morning. But drinking more coffee can also be an experience of b'chol derachecha do'eyu. Know a Kadosh Baruch Hu. In what way coffee? So let's take, for example, the person who drinks coffee and realizes the following, as I drink. The coffee bean is bitter. If I put sugar into my coffee, that's sweet. The water is hot. If I put milk into the coffee, the milk is cold. And of course, here it is together. The bitter bean, the sweet honey. It could be honey or sugar. And at the same time, it's the hot water, cold milk. I stir it all together, and I make a bracha. Sha'akol miyad bivaro. It's a reminder that in the day, there may be things that I experience that may be bitter, it may be sweet, it may be hot, it may be cold. But I know one thing, Sha'akol miyad bivaro. And that is interesting. I'm going to use coffee in the morning, just like I use steps to remind myself of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and somebody else uses this, and somebody else uses that. But the idea is, and we become makusher to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. And that's the way, it's simple that way. Because how much time do we spend in davening that we're going to remember? It's like the person who says, he goes to his Rav and he says, I have a problem thinking about a Kadosh Baruch Hu. I have a problem. I know Dveikus is where it should be, but I have a difficulty. The Rav says, well, give me an idea what your day is like. He says, I get up early in the morning, I have a Seder, I go I have a Seder, and then I go to daven in the base Medrash, the base Knesset, and then I go and I have a morning Seder, I have an afternoon Seder, an evening Seder. When do I have a chance to think about Hashem? Okay, so this person, we have to work with him, but you get the idea. We have to go out of our way, and we can buy other opportunities and opportunities. Because if we don't use the opportunities that we have, Hashem will give us opportunities, and we don't want that. I'm thinking already, I don't need prompts. I don't need it. Now, an interesting question is asked by many Meforshim, and that is, why is it that Matovu Alel Yaakov Mishkan Osecha Yisrael is in our city, even before Adonai? Who said it? Bilam said it. The words of Bilam should be in our city anyway, and especially starting off the day so early. I'm going to think of Bilam. If I do, knowing where it comes from. If you want to say something beautiful about Klal Yisrael, go to David HaMelech. David HaMelech says, Mikam Chai Yisrael Goy Echad Ba'aretz, who is like the Jewish people, unique in the land. But why should I use Bilam? That's the shayla. Why the words of Bilam? I heard years ago, there are many truths, but I read years ago from Reb Mordechai Kamenetsky, a relative of Yaakov, Zecher Tzadik Levracha Kamenetsky, the following: that Chazal had a very important purpose of putting Matov Alel. All of us know. Well, how did Bilam come to say this? Because when he looked down at the Klal Yisrael, and they didn't know he was looking at them, that he said, he saw, Ra'ah, She'en Pischeihem, Pesuchim Mul, one Pesach Mul the other. that the doors to their tents were not open across from each other. They set up their tents in such a way that they affected and had the privacy and the modesty of daily living. And that made a very positive impression on him. They didn't know he was looking at them, but there they were. So when he had to say something, Matov Yaakov. Say, Chazal B'dafka wanted us to realize early in the morning that we are making impressions on everyone around us. We can start at home. We make impressions on our wives, our children, the neighbor, the people who see us driving or walking, the people who see us in the base medrash, how we daven, how we sit, whatever we're in the supermarket, how we're standing in line, the contact we have, people are looking at us, even though we don't realize that, and we're making impressions on them. And a Kal V'chomer, if Bilam HaRosh Merusha could be impressed at what he sees about Klal Yisrael, what about other people around us? Nobody is on his madrega. So the fact is, Chazal are saying, be careful, be on your best behavior very early in the morning. Now I know it's hard to be so perfect so early in the morning, but it's doable, and that we should all do. And when we see Matov Yaakov B'Shkanasecha Yisrael, it is a reminder, a daily reminder, and Mitzvah Hashem, we should be matzliach in putting it, to use. The Tosfos and Avdalid in Avodah Zorah asks the following question: Bilam knew the moment of Zam, the very moment of anger that a Kadosh Baruch Hu has, where Midas Hadin takes over for a moment, and at that moment he wanted to curse the Jewish people. And the shaila that comes up at that moment, if this is it, how much of a curse could he possibly make in a moment? So what could Bilam say? There's a moment of Zam, a moment of Midas Hadin and anger. What could he say? So Tosfos gives two tuts. One is that he was going to say Kalei, destroy them. That would be it. 1 second, Kalei, put an end to them. Okay. That's possible. And then Tosfos gives a second teretz. Second teretz is, it's enough. So Rabbi Eliyahu says that if you begin the curse in that moment, then you can go on, and you can go on. So this is what Bilam, when he says to the shlichim who came to him, I don't know if a Kadosh Baruch Hu will let me say anything. Katan or Godel, what he was saying, Katan is Kalem. Would he let me? Will I be able to say Kalem? Or Godel is something more. Once I start, in that moment, I can be able to go. I can go on. Okay, that's pshat. Now, the pshat in Kalem. What is Kalem? This is nogeya to us personally. Kalem, Chaf Lamed Men. Chaf Lamed. The Chaf stands for Chavid. Chavid meaning our liver, the seat of taiva. Lamed is the seat of emotion. Mem, of course, is Moach, is our intellect. What essentially Bilam, Al-Pider, Al-Drush wanted to say, and we should be well aware of this, that Hashem let their taivas and let their emotions rule the intellect. And that when that happens, the person is destroyed. Instead, Tosfos brings it down, Hashem changed it to Melech. Same letters, but in the reverse. That the Moach, the intellect, rules both the emotions and the taivas of a person. And therefore, in our lives, we have to see, realizing that Bilam was just not in that generation. There's a Bilam type and a Bilam and a Balak type and all of them that affect everybody who exists now too. We have to always do our best to see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu mispalel, hatochonem li adam das. Part of that tefillah should always be, please Hashem, allow my intellect to govern all the other emotions and the feelings that I have so that I can be an Eved Hashem. And that's the key of it all. Now the fact is this, why is it, and it's all work, why is it that Bilam had such hatred for Klal Yisrael? A lot is discussed as why he could have been a Gilgal of but true too. But part of it is the fact that Bilam understood that the Klal Yisrael were great. They were Goya, this is Goya Chad Ba'aretz. The fact is, these are the Bechir, the Kadosh Baruch Hu's Am HaNivcher, and therefore that bothered him because he was not ready to work on himself. The key is to everything. A person can be very well aware of many things. This is one of the reasons that the Meraglim are juxtaposed to Miriam. Mice of Miriam, where she got saras for speaking Lashon Hara. Rashi says, what is it? Why is the next part is Meraglim, which is written next to it? To be able to show us, when they saw what happened to Miriam, they made the mistake of speaking Lashon Hara about Eretz Yisrael. What's the point? The point is people can intellectually be aware of many things, but if a person doesn't work on himself to see that he takes his intellectual understanding and surrounds it with Yiras Shamayim, Reishis Chachma, the greatest intellect of all, Yiras Hashem. Kadosh Baruch Hu should help us to use our Yiras Hashem to serve Him in the best possible way, 24 hours a day, months, years, for all of our lives. Guten Shabbos.